evening all. So I think I've got it sussed this time. Well, all being well, I've got it sussed. So, update stroke build video, progress video, bit of everything video. Probably not my last before Christmas. Promising. Right, where was he up to? We was doing the corner piece. So obviously that is it complete, but what we're going to go through tonight in the video is me actually making that in stages. Quite complex, 6 pieces in it, yeah, all together, and I've done it in steps. It's going to be explained in the video, the steps that I go through to actually do it and what I'm doing. So I hope you find that bit informative in that respect. Update on the actual engine and tender. Quite a lot going on. I'm working on that horizontal stretcher, the new one that I had laser cut. I've got more axle boxes done. That's just waiting for the yellow to go on the nuts themselves. But essentially that's another one done. I've got another one just here that's just had everything added to the face. That's ready for painting. So that's all balled out ready. I've got 2 completed already, as you know. One in the milling machine that's been brought down to size from a raw casting. And then one here ready to be drilled and bored out to size. I have the covers done. And one thing I've been working on ready for these pieces is the front buffer beam. So there's quite a lot going on in the back, which, well, if you can see it very well, but there's a collection of rivets gone in it now, which is obviously holding everything in that's in the back. Those 2 spaces there is what I'll be working on next with it. Which is obviously those corner pieces that go in. There's another piece of angle to go in this top bit here. This bottom bit of angle there that you can see, it's got a bit of it's shaped to the actual buffer beam, and it's a support piece, obviously to give it strength. It's copying full size. I haven't done these 4 rivets here or up there because that's where the rubbing plate's going to go. I've obviously got to machine that up first, put the radius on the face, transfer the holes through the buffer beam into that, and then I've got to work out the shape of them, because they weren't a domed head on full-size engine. They weren't countersunk either. They were kind of somewhere in between. I want them to look right. The problem I have is this row here, that row is going to have the front drag box on it, so it's going to have slotless screws, as I said in the previous video. Where the rubbing plate is, I don't want them to be domed head. I want them to be somewhere between a countersink and a domed head rivet. It's somewhere in between, so I've got to figure that bit out, what I'm going to do on that top row. The bottom bit can be riveted in and I can get the shape how I want it to. Obviously in this gap here and this gap here, there'll be the vac and steam heat equipment that'll be in those 2 gaps. That's to be added on. Buffer stocks to go on. I've marked these 2 in red because they're going to be countersunk on the face, because the buffer stocks go over the top of them. But the 2 rivets that are there hold this corner piece in, so they're going to go over. You can see that's the backing plate for the buffer stock, so that goes over the top of it there. Yeah, they've got a drill. They're tapping size corners. The 4 corners are tapping size, so I'll get that lined up. I'll put a bit of 1/2 inch round through the hole so it gets it there, and then square it off the top to get it nice and square. Drill those through, tap the buffer beam, and then drill them clearance. All ready for the stocks. The stocks then have to go in the lathe, have to be turned down and sorted out. So there's a lot gone on in a very short space of time. I've kind of been out here for a few hours today. I've cleaned a bench off, which is unlike me. I cleaned the benches off because I'm going to try and tidy up a job that's been hanging around for a long while. So yeah, that's where we're up to update wise on the actual engine. I'm sure I'd silver soldered something else, but I can't remember what it were. Oh, it was them corner pieces in there. Those bits, they were 2 pieces of laser cut part, tabbed and slotted together in the corners and then machined up to keep them nice and square. They got riveted on as soon as they were done. So there's quite a lot of progress gone into that buffer beam already. Once I've done that and it can be bolted in, if you saw the Facebook page, you saw the lifting eyes have been temporary bolted to the frames as well to make sure they were, and you can just see one in the frame there. The lifting eyes are on the inside of the frames. Again, they've got a different head shape to the rivet, and I want to get them right. They're not a dome head and they're not countersunk, they're somewhere in between. There might be someone out there in the internet world that will be able to tell me what that actually is, what that's actually called, so I know what to look for to do my research for it. I'm not going to rush it until I get the right idea of what I need to do. But yeah, so the engine's coming on leaps and bounds now. Tender wise, I need to clear the lathe of all the little bits and bobs before I can tackle the brake hangers. Once I can tackle the brake hangers, I can strip the frames down. That'll probably be after Christmas, New Year now. Keep an eye out on the actual Facebook page, because I'm going to do a picture of the engine frames and tender frames all together, just to give it's really to give my family the opportunity to see it all and how big it is, because they don't come out here and they don't see what I do until I take a part into the house and go, there's my progress of it so far. So anyway, I'm waffling on. Have a look at this next video of the parts going together and the silver soldering stages. And there we are, you can see it as a finished article that's ready now, literally to rivet to the buffer beam. But I'm not going to do it just yet, because I want to sort out other parts on that buffer beam before that's the last bit to go on. Once that goes on, job done. So enjoy. We'll see you on the next update, and I hope the sound comes across okay still. This microphone seems to be doing the trick. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, share, put notifications on and all that jazz, and we'll see you on the next one, which fingers crossed will be before Christmas. Last bit. That's it. Leave it in there now to soak. Clean it all up. There's number 2 just finished. That's ready to go straight into pickle. So this one's had a double cook, as it were. I've had to put it in for silver soldering for the second time, and the reason for that is, if I use this to just point at it, the silver solder had gone up the face up there and not actually into the join. So you can see now I've got it completely in the join. I don't think that's a bubble in it there, because that was already soldered at that end, but it wasn't at that end. So this is going to get dropped into pickle now and left for 24 hours, and we'll see where we are after that. Right, we're on to the last bit. So you've seen I've had to do a double cook on one part, because the silver solder had followed the flux up the face, because I'd gone a bit over the top with the flux as I was applying it. It gone up the face, up this face here, So I've had to do a double cook on that, and it's all run perfectly now, so I'm happy with that. So these two parts, I've just pulled them apart if you didn't hear me. So these are the last two parts to go together. So there's a tab there and a tab there, and if I can get it right, I can squeeze it all together in one go on camera like that. So this now is pretty much emery papered and ready to go. I've just seen another face I need to emery paper, but it's all ready to go. I'm just going to need to flux it up. It's going to take a lot of heat for this last bit, so all being well, I won't do the actual soldering part. You'll see by the video I've sped a bit up because it's to me it looks boring, because I'm warming up a fire brick and everything like that and getting this hot. We don't need to see silver solder running. You're getting the idea of what I'm doing and doing it in stages. So that's where we're up to now. I'm going to pull this apart again. Just give it a bit of a wiggle and it should come apart. So I'm just going to do this last bit now. Emery paper that last face on there, flux it all up, silver solder it, so the next time we see this it'll be all fully finished. Fingers crossed. No, it will be fully finished, not a problem. And then this will be ready to put into the frames. I'm temporary bolting everything together because I just want to check all my measurements that I've done on CAD to have these parts cut all marry up where they should do. And I was saying to you about the narrow gap. I'll show you it on this now before I actually silver solder it up. You can see it there. You can see that row of rivets or rivet holes in the middle there. That's a narrow gap, and I can't even get my finger in, never mind a rivet snap. They would be riveted to the frames in full size. Now I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to get a rivet snap up there. Plus as well, I'm not going to be able to have the frames in the riveting jig and everything and squeeze a rivet head nicely without completely ballsing it up. So on this part of it, this is going to be slotless screws through the frames into the front drag box. When the foot plating's on, you won't even see them, but on the outside, if you look through the gap, you'd see what looks like a rivet, so that'll work fine. On this side here, this is going to the buffer beam. This is the back of the buffer beam, so there's visible rivet heads there along the top there, so that part of it will be riveted. So I'm going to rivet one side, slot the screws the other. Allows me to take it apart if I need to, but has the strength of everything of rivets like it would have been on full size. So there we go, we get the idea. On to the next bit. So there we are, last bit's just done. You can see I've got right down in that gap. I've had to pretty much pick it up, twist it around and mess about with it. It's got all the joints done now, thankfully. So that's into pickle now, let it cool down and then clean up. So we're back. I'm just going to summarise everything you've just watched. Now you notice at the start of it I sped it up because who really wants to see me silver solder something? It takes ages for the fabric to get hot, then the metal to get hot, then the flux to go off, the silver solder to run. So I sped it up to give you an idea. Though the last part of it to get this running here, where the two bits slot together, it takes a lot of heat because you've got to get in the gap there to get the run through, but also you've got to come kind of onto the outside to make sure that the heat's come through, because if it stood up like that, like it was, this part here isn't getting truly hot. So what you didn't see is me kind of grabbing it with some thin nose pliers, long thin nose pliers, picking it up so that the heat would radiate into it really fast. And because I'd placed the solder in the gaps and placed it in the flux, as soon as it come up and the heat got in it, it ran straight away. So it gets into the joints in there where you need it, and it finishes the part off nice. I will confess that is the most complicated silver soldering I've done in one sitting. Even though I've already, like I said before, finished my dad's engine, none of the parts on my dad's engine did I need to make a fabrication like that, because it was following the Martin M's design engine, and it was machined lumps of cast iron to make stuff for it, and a lot of that work was done by my dad. So this is, to me, it's a new one. It's a new thing for me. Doing any of these stretches and stuff like that is all new to me, because, as I say, even though we did a class 2 before, my dad did a lot of the work and I just was an observer, really. So to tackle something like that, yes, I'm very nervous. Am I going to cock it up? 9 times out of 10 I don't. There's the odd time that something goes pear-shaped, like tonight, snapping a drill. It has nothing to do with silver soldering, that bit, by the way. Snapping a drill, taking my eye off the ball for a second, and when the drill started to pick up, it jumped the part that was in my hand and snapped the drill clean off. It's only 332 drill, it wasn't very big. But it just goes to show that you can make a mistake and you just have to go, right, okay, write that bit off and start again. Some of it, you know, the age-old argument, you know, you're cheating because you're using laser cut parts, you're not fabricating it. That was a fabrication in Darlington Works. They cut the parts with an oxyacetylene torch. So me having the parts cut by a laser, then essentially welding them all together, is exactly the same as what was done on full size. So it's not cheating, is what I'm saying. Having cast parts, you're following on what they did in full size. So all of this being fabricated bit by bit, it's just copying exactly as I do in full size. So that brings us completely up to date for now. As I said at the start of the video, I'm going to hopefully do another one just before Christmas, which is, what, a week, 10 days away. It's not long away. But I hope to do another one, just to kind of show. Hopefully I'm going to get that horizontal stretcher in, get it bolted to the vertical stretcher there, with the front buffer beam on. You'll see some right nice progress on the front of the engine. And I'm hoping to get that done, as I say, before Christmas. So thanks ever so much for staying with me and while I waffle on. Please do share it, like it, notifications and all that. Do all those things that YouTube asks you to do, or I'm asking you to do now. Just so that, you know, if there's something out there that I'm doing that, you know, there's someone out that hasn't attempted to do it themselves and thought, oh, I wonder if, because that's how I look at a lot of stuff. Oh, what if I could do this that way? And I end up myself watching YouTube videos of other people, how I'm going to clamp something in the milling machine, how I'm going to turn something in the lathe. You know, every day's a school day. So thanks ever so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, put thumbs up and all that. And if you've got any comments, just fire them away and I'll answer them as best I can. See you on the next one.